India has just changed how to prepare for a future war. The Defense Ministry just rewrote the rules on who gets to build its missiles. For the first time ever, private companies aren't just supplying parts, they're being handed the keys to produce entire missile systems. From air defense to anti tank weapons to precision strike missiles. This is a decision that's taken years in the making, and it could change how fast and how many missiles India can put on the modern battlefield. Let's find out more about this in this video. So, the Defense Ministry has just taken one of the most significant steps in the history of its missile manufacturing. The government has approved the transfer of DRDO developed technologies for all conventional missiles to the Indian private industry, a decision that fundamentally changes how the country builds its weapons. For decades, missiles were produced in India, followed by a single well-known path. DRDO would develop a system and Bharat Dynamics Limited would take over series production. Almost exclusively, private companies were largely limited to just supplying components. That model has now changed. Qualified Indian companies can now move beyond component supply and undertake full-scale in-house production of missile systems for the very first time. The list of systems being opened up is extensive. It includes the Akash family of surface-to-air missiles, the very short-range air defense system, the Astra air-to-air missile family, the Rudram anti-radiation missile, anti-tank systems such as the NAG, and man-portable ATGM, the naval anti-ship missile, short-range, and the long-range land attack cruise missiles, as well as the Pralay quasi-ballistic missile, could be now manufactured by the private industry. Strategic systems like Agni and the K series remain out of bounds, and so do systems such as the BrahMos and the MRSAM, as they've been developed along with foreign partners. So why does this matter so much? The advantages here are significant. First, it dramatically speeds up how quickly a missile goes from the drawing board to the battlefield. Indigenous systems have often been stuck at the prototype stage for years simply because production capacity was limited to one or two state-run entities. Opening the field to multiple private players removes that bottleneck. Second, it expands India's overall industrial capacity in a very real way. Bharat Dynamics Limited's production lines are already stretched thin by both domestic orders and a growing number of exports. Bringing in companies such as Tata, Adani, Bharat Forge, Mahindra, and ICOM means India can produce far more, far faster. Third, this move pulls small and medium enterprises deeper into the supply chain, not just the big conglomerates. That means more indigenous value addition and less dependence on imported components, which has long been one of the weakest links in India's defense ecosystem. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly in today's world, this builds what defense planners called surge capacity. Recent conflicts in Ukraine and West Asia have shown just how quickly munition stockpiles can run dry in a prolonged fight. A wider industrial base means India can scale up production quickly if a long conflict demands it. Fifth, this strengthens India's position as a global missile exporter. With growing international interest in systems such as the Astra, more manufacturing capacity means India can fulfill export orders without compromising its own stockpiles. And finally, this frees up DRDO itself. Once production responsibilities are shared with private industry, DRDO scientists can focus their energy on developing the next generation of weapons instead of managing manufacturing logistics. This isn't happening in isolation either. Companies such as Tata, Solar Defense, Adani, and Bharat Forge have a strong missile manufacturing footprint. From Akash launchers to the Nagastra loitering munition, this latest decision simply builds on that foundation and pushes India several steps closer to true self-reliance in one of the most critical areas of national defense.